Hey y'all, Dylan here. I decided for the first post on this account that I would do something that's been highly requested me to do ever since I've started doing these capes. A lot of people are precautious when they order my capes because they're scared that they'll ruin the rubber cape and won't be able to reattach it if they mess up the proper fabric cape. Now, I do a tutorial within the post about how to attach the cape, but it only goes so far without an example of how to do it properly, which is what I'm going to do today. So, what you'll need is any kind of super glue, but preferably I use the kind that have brushes on them because then you can put them specifically where you want instead of dabbing it on and messing around with it. Super glue, a razor, the figure in question, and the cape, in which you can buy on my eBay, Mercari, or PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App. So, the first step, you take the razor, and you look at the Superman cape in the back. Now, as you can see, right here, there's an attachment point between the back and the cape. You're going to need to take your razor and lay it flat. Make sure you don't cut the back. I mean, you won't be looking at the back most of the time, but you just want to make sure you don't mess it up so it looks really bad. So you put it at an angle like that, as so. And you just push through. Make sure you don't cut your fingers, that'd be bad. Just keep cutting until the points are detached. See, there you go. Cut that part off. Leave a clean cut there. And then, that's the first step done. You go to the front. Now this is the part where you want to be extra precautious. You have to take these two parts off in order to, take the cape off. So, what you do, there's two ways in which you can do this. If you're too scared to use a razor, you can get a hair dryer or a heat gun, and you can just heat up this to the point where it rips off or just detaches. But I just use a razor for simplicity because it's way quicker for me than waiting for 30 seconds for something to dry. Now, sorry, my glue fell. Now, take the razor and you go from the back. Go from the back. You don't want to cut from here and then go there. You might cut the skin, which leaves a mark. So, you want to go from the back, cut and go around. Try and get as much of the cape off as you can. Sorry, it's a bit harder on camera. Also, note, please take your time when you do this. I'm used to doing this pretty quickly, but if you're scared of cutting something up, just take your time. Because you can see, even me, this is a newer type of rubber cape they're using, so I have to cut up a little bit. Cut there. You can also just use your hands and rip the last part off, like that. See how it's like that? You want to get to that point. If you take out the entire rubber piece, it's not a big deal. I've done that before. It's just preferable so it's a smoother surface in which you can apply the cape. Now, and then I try and get to the flat side. I'm just ripping this part off because I don't need the cape. If you want to keep the cape, obviously, do as clean as you physically can. I'm just going to try my best to cut. If you're precautious about messing up the head, you can remove it with a hairdryer heat gun as well prior to doing all this so you don't completely mess it up. So, making the final rubber pieces as flat as possible. And there. So, once you're done, cape should be fully detached. Should look like this. Have it off, both and on. So what you do for the next part is you get the glue, and you can do this one of two ways. You can attach the glue onto the cape line, or you attach it onto here. I do directly onto the body first. So what you do is you go around the collar line, just around the collar points, right over directly where the cape was attached. So you apply the glue. You apply it on the other side. I tend to apply around the neck. Just be careful in the way you do it, because if you put too much glue, which would be bad, you could leave glue stains, which look really, really messy. So you should take your time. I want to emphasize taking your time while doing this, because if you rush too fast and you're particularly new to this, it could come out very, very messy. So once you have the glue on, you take the cape. All you do is you open it up, take one point from directly where the cape, rubber cape was, push it down, attach, press down, wrap the cape around the neck, boom, and then you keep holding down. Now I would say hold this down for a solid minute in place. Now I say a minute mainly just to make sure it's on. And I think one problem I've encountered with the fabrics and the plastics when it comes to McFarlane figures is that they don't typically mesh straight away. So you may have to do a couple of coats of glue on there. So if the cape keeps attaching, you keep trying to attach the cape, and it keeps peeking up right around here, it's not a huge deal. All you do is you take the cape end, you put glue under it, and just keep pressing down. Because eventually they will bond together and it'll keep that place. So it's almost drying in position. You just really want to make sure it's dry. It should be good. If not, you can see what I mean, like right here. See how it didn't attach? You just take your glue, put it on the underside, lather it up. Maybe put some glue on the rubber piece too, just to add more bondage. Then press down real hard. Only a tiny little piece right here didn't attach. This is why I recommend a brush, because if you have like a glue that dabs out the glue instead of precision, it's just a little harder to do. It's not that it doesn't work. It's perfectly fine if you have that kind of glue. Keep pressing it down. Should be done in a second. And then voila. That's all. That's all you need to do. And you're finished. The cape stays perfectly in place. Never falls off. If it does fall off, all you do is just glue it back on. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate your services, and have a good night.